Hey guys, TomBoy601, and today we're taking a look at the Queen Mary, the reward for beating hard mode in this year's Halloween event. We'll have a review of the ship, we'll go over the commander, the build, and also show off a game in it. So, with all of that said, if you like videos like this, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's go ahead and dive on in. First things first, this is a tier 4 battle cruiser for the British, so we only get one slot of options here, and we are running Aiming System Mod 1 just for the help with the accuracy. As far as our consumables go, it is not anything special. Damage control party, you know it, you love it. The repair party, a decent repair party, I would say. 809 health per second for 20 seconds of duration. You get 4 charges of it, which is pretty good. And then the enhanced secondary targeting, though the secondary range on the ship is not that great, so don't be surprised if you never really use this consumable. As far as our commander goes, well, we are running the good old John Fisher, the battle cruiser commander that was kind of made for the British battle cruisers. We are running Kondo and Paolo di Revel as our inspirations, and then we are running Flammable Cannoneer, Dance with Death, Reformer, Master Mechanic, and Fight Fire with Fire. That's sort of just the build. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. Survivability, you're looking at 46,850 hit points with an armor thickness between 13 and 254 millimeters. We can go ahead and take a look at the armor. As you can see, we have a front plate that is only 16 millimeters, which means lots of things are going to punch straight through that nose. So be prepared to angle, because at least on the side, you do have a little bit of protection here, which can bounce shells in that lower belt. But just be warned, because, well, you still do have a citadel, but thankfully it is fairly well sunken, other than this little hump in the back right here, right behind the rear turret. So just be aware to play around that. If I recall, Queen Mary was one of those ships. I think her magazine got detonated during Battle of Jutland, so she's a ship that went boom in real life. Let's get back to the rest of those stats. 8% torpedo reduction. Artillery, you have 4 2-barreled 343 millimeter guns with firing range of 17.4 kilometers. Reload time, 25.5 seconds. HE shell damage is 5,050 with a 39% chance to set fire, and a maximum AP shell damage of 9,450. You do have the secondaries. You have 16 102 millimeter guns. Firing range is 4.2 kilometers with a reload of 7.5 seconds, 1,500 damage, and a 6% chance to set fire. Now, Queen Mary, being a battle cruiser of the British, she does have access to torpedoes. She has 2 of them, one on the front on each side. They are not very powerful. I was very whelmed with their performance when I did get them to hit an enemy ship. 90-second reload time, 10,000 maximum damage, 6.4 kilometer range, 53 knots. They are just there to help you finish someone off, but I would not plan on having them win you a duel of any kind. Just be prepared for that. AA, absolutely terrible. You'll see in the game that we have that we have a carrier that goes after us for a significant portion of the game, and I don't think we shoot down a single plane during that entire time. Maneuverability, max speed 27.5 knots, which is a bit slow for the British battlecruisers. Usually they do have an engine boost to help make up for it, but this one does not. Rudder shift time 13.3 seconds and a turning radius of 740 meters. Concealment on the vessel, you're looking at 10.9 kilometers by sea, 9.1 by air, and 10.3 when firing in smoke. And that is everything you kind of need to know about the Queen Mary. I will say, I do wish there was a historical camouflage available for this ship, because, like, the purple is fun for a little bit, but I would like a historical camouflage for this wargaming, please and thank you. Anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and dive on into our game with it. So welcome to Mountain Range, and we spawned in the middle of the map, which means we're going to have to make a choice. Of course, this is the small version of Mountain Range, so we kind of looked on the map and said, well, the weak side's over on the left side, and it has 2 capture points, so strategically speaking, that one should technically be the more important one. So we're going to head over in that direction. We're also going to try to take a couple of pot shots at whoever we can hit in this opening group, and then assist our 2 ships over on the BA side with the 2 ships that spawned over here. We have a Marblehead and we have a Warspite. Marblehead, being an Omaha class, should be relatively easy to deal with because it should be just made of Explodium. In fact, it looks like someone has already hit its Citadel, so we should have a relatively easy chance, even with only 2 of our guns online, as the other 2 begin their rotation around. Rotation speed, not exactly the strength on this vessel, but hey, we'll take what we can as torpedoes from the enemy destroyer cross in front of us. Thankfully, we weren't up to speed in order to intercept those with our hull. Anyways, down to just a Warspite on this side, and good news for us, it looks like he is more than happy to kind of just sail in a straight line and give us broadside. We do need to be careful, because if we look over on our right-hand side, our starboard side, there is plenty of ships that could potentially be hitting our broadside. We also just need to keep an eye on what this Warspite's turrets are doing. It does look like he is more than happy, though, to either engage our battleship or that Kirov that is nice and close, which he should be able to easily punch through and do some massive damage with his shots. But we're going to slow on down here now that we have all of our turrets on the correct side of the ship, and we can just start laying some shells into the Warspite. And you can see the kind of big chunks we're doing here. And overall, Queen Mary, she feels like just a pretty good British tier 4 battle cruiser. She feels just in kind of line with Tiger. I didn't find anything particularly spectacular with her, right? Tiger has four guns of, I think, pretty much the same caliber as Queen Mary has. So you're not really picking up anything in particular other than a unique layout and the fact that it's premium. As the Fubuki plays bumper boats there, though we do get a very interesting piece of information from that little encounter right there. One, that Fubuki not built for stealth, and 2, we're going to go ahead and turn out because we know he's launching those torpedoes at us. We saw the torpedoes pointed in our direction, and we also just kind of want to deal with this Warspite once and for all. And then we can go ahead and move and try to engage in those crossfires over onto the seaside. So Warspite still happily sailing straight in to our guys, which, I mean, fair play to him. What else is he going to do? He's kind of on the weak side. He could have turned out and just kind of played a bit more cheeky, a bit more annoyingly throughout the day or throughout this match. But hey, he didn't, and we will more than happy take this. The other thing I want to point out at this time is we've started to be engaged by the enemy carrier, and you're going to notice we don't shoot down a single plane through this entire game, and you're going to see just how much time he ends up spending on station above us, and the minuscule AA defense that Queen Mary has will not be able to shoot down any of those planes. Now, we are up against, as you can see by the bomb drops, we're up against a British carrier. And the British carriers they tend to have, I should say, the strongest, the most durable planes at the tier, especially for the tech trees. So they are the hardest planes we could have to shoot down, but it's still a crazy stat that we will not shoot down a single one of these planes for the rest of the match. And he is going to, I'm not going to say dog us this whole match, but he is going to consistently engage us for the rest of his time in this match. So, you know, that's, I guess, one of the big downsides to the Queen Mary, but we kind of knew that with the battle cruisers, because, you know, the battle cruisers kind of designed during the World War I, in that World War I time frame. Airplanes not really a threat to ships during World War I, so anti-air emplacements not exactly something on the top of mind. As Furious is spotted thanks to our destroyer out there, we're not spotting him, but we are able to now engage him, which kind of makes sense as to why he has been spending so much time engaging us, as we find his citadel located kind of right behind the center point of the ship. He does get a double fire on us, and we are finally taking A, though we do need to kind of keep an eye on the minimap. It is very easy in times like this where, you know, the Furious is free damage. It is an easy kill for us. We just need to put as many rounds as we can, but we do need to keep an eye on that minimap, because we can see this Queen Mary is coming towards us, and he's probably keeping an eye towards us. So we want these guns, this next salvo, to be headed towards him. He's nice and broadside. We get that beautiful dispersion. We get a couple of good hits here, and you can see, thankfully he misses, but you can see the angle you kind of want to be at with the Queen Mary in order to not take as much damage, because the nose, if we were nose in, he would be able to fairly easily punch through our armor. But thankfully, you know, we were able to get that turn off, and we can see we're kind of turning back out, getting ready for if the Queen Mary is going to engage us again. But at this point, I'm kind of annoyed with the Furious, and I just want to get him off the map, because I'm like, mentally, we can take this Queen Mary. I'm confident in our abilities to engage this Queen Mary. This Furious, like I said, has just been consistently engaging us, and it's time to get him knocked off the map as he drops some torpedoes towards us. And I believe that will end up being the last of it. I was also very surprised when we turned back over and this Queen Mary had just decided that, you know what, we're not the threat he wants to aim at. I guess that destroyer is more important to him, which is fair. But hey, his guns aren't pointed at us, so we can freely go broadside to him in this case, which we absolutely will. We'll take a nice couple of chunks out of him as the Furious begins to take his revenge from being sunk by us, and that's perfectly okay. We are finally able to take A. Our team is taking C. This is a bit of a blowout match, but I think it shows the strengths of the Queen Mary overall. I mean, it's a tier 4 battle cruiser. There isn't going to be huge compelling gameplay with it. It is a fairly fun ship to play, and we're going to go ahead, keep watching that minimap, because we can tell Kirov coming around the corner now, and we want to just aim right at the waterline and try to get our shells to arm in the water and then detonate within his citadel. If we can do that, we should be able to get a citadel and a kill on him. See, we're trying that here. We end up falling just a little bit short here. I'm contemplating using the the sonar or the torpedoes at this point. We get our middle guns and we do exactly what we wanted. They're right at the waterline. We get the citadel hit, and now Queen Mary is our main target. Queen Mary has put its focus back on us, I think rightly so, and we pick up the high caliber here as we sort of just defend A at this point. We do need to be on the lookout for their enemy destroyer, but as we saw earlier, he is not a really big concealment build of a destroyer, as he pops up right there at 6 kilometers, which is very odd for a torpedo boat, but we will take it. At this point, I am having decision paralysis. I'm like, okay, do we finish off the Queen Mary or do we go for the Fubuki? Fubuki, we can see the torpedoes aiming at us once again, so we're gonna go ahead and change direction here. And there are the torpedoes that he launched at us. Thankfully, all widespread, we are able to finish him off. Queen Mary still not being finished off here, so I'm like, do we? Nope. Okay, Fubuki it is. Time to finish him off with just a smidgen of health, bringing us for a final total of 122,700 damage for the match. Overall, Queen Mary, I think it's a fine reward ship. Nothing spectacular to write home about, but still a good time. If you like videos like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.